I have a confession. I've always known this business that I started was mission work. I've always known that it was supposed to be shared all over the world. I've always known that I have unique and special gifts. Before I had my Harmonic Egg, I was working in my home studio, working with codes and working with emotion code and doing the biofield tuning, doing the intuitive guidance. And because of the results that I was getting when I was doing that work, I listened to the intuitive nudges that I was getting from Source, from the divine. Over and over, the people that were being sent to me, the people that were finding me, were these beautiful star seeds, these beautiful souls who came in with really expansive, amazing abilities, but because they didn't have the training or the book knowledge that maybe they needed to help them through those different times when they're feeling these things that people might deem as crazy. You're seeing things, you're experiencing things, you're seeing vortexes, you're having rocks talk to you, you're seeing visions in the clouds, you're seeing spirit behind somebody's shoulders. You get visions in your mind's eyes. Some people get a feeling in their chest. Some people hear a voice, which is usually how mine comes in a soft whisper on this side. It's always a soft whisper on this side. I have taken Suzanne Giesman's mediumship course, and I mean, if I'm totally honest, it's one of those things that I invested in, and it was an online course that I missed the first go round, so this was kind of like a less expensive version. So I didn't have the community that I needed in order to be able to practice. And so I was learning these tips and tricks and trying to find people to practice on. And the first reading I did, I think I got 3 hits that came in that were pretty accurate. The second person that I had sit with me, I had brought up a bunch of different things, and everything I said, she was like, no, didn't ring a bell. And I went, I suck at this. I can't be a medium. And, I've left it on the back burner, and I figure if spirit wants me to pick it up again, I will be shown. That might have been one of those things that I was curious about and that I wanted to explore, but I don't know that that's the medium that I'm meant to work with. Although my clients that I tend to work with tend to be mediums naturally without the class. And I think that the way that humanity is going is that there's going to be more and more people waking up their DNA that has been offline for a long time. And as we release the density out of our body, as we release trapped emotions and stuff stuck in our fascias, and more people are detoxing and parasite cleansing and removing heavy metals and fluoride. This is not new news. When I was finding out, there were a bunch of people who knew this stuff before I did. That's how I got my hands on the information, because they wrote books, they recorded videos, they did the things to create the record so that humanity would have a resource. Now, there can be challenging things that happen when you're on a platform like this, where if you're saying stuff that may go against the mainstream narrative, that you can be at risk for having your channel removed. Spirit even suggested to me, as much as I say I don't want to collect emails, I don't want to collect emails. But I have these really amazing people on some of my socials that if for some reason we lost that platform, you would be like a boop, you would be gone. Fortunately, I do have some of these people that I have met through socials that I actually have their names and phone numbers, and we talk on the phone. I think it's really important, if you find somebody on social media that you vibe with and you don't have a real live human in real life to call and talk to about this stuff, it can be nice to have a friend who is also on the same train as you. When you are, that just brought up a vision for me, when you are the conductor of the train and you have the windshield, you have the whole vast span of information in front of you. And then you have your caboose. You have your guy that's like looking out behind, making sure everything's good, we're cleaning it up. But then you have your middle. You have your middle of passengers. And think about that. The tunnel vision that you experience when you're on a train car, because you're just looking out the side. Maybe you're turning this way, but you're not seeing forward, you're not seeing backwards, you're just like this. And most people are living in this tunnel vision. And I feel like I am a conductor with a windshield that can see the vast expanse of things ahead. Do I know for sure? No, I can only talk about the things that I have experienced with my own two eyes. I can only tell you the things that have worked for me. I can only warn you of the things that have been roadblocks on my particular railroad track. And so, healing, ascension, enlightenment, the hero's journey, I don't know, spiritual awakening. There are levels. And you don't just do it once. You go boom, 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 and then it goes bloop. And then you go boom, 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 and it goes bloop. And you do it. You just keep doing that. Because, well, I hate to say it, but did you come here to live? Or did you come here to exist? Because most people are just existing. They're in the tunnel vision. They're not looking out at the road ahead. Maybe they're looking behind them at all the stuff they left behind. Let's start, and I know my clients are up in the front of the train with me. I do know that. They are the observers. They are the creators. They are the new earth architects that are here making sure there is a clear path for the train. The big old train that's coming behind us. And if you are someone who is out ahead of your tribe, your people, your collective, your family, friends, community, congratulations. Congratulations. It is a lonely road. But the more you get into the front of the train, I am finding all these people who also want to be in the train up front. They see what is out ahead of us. they see what it's like to have freedom and sovereignty and the ability to speak your truth and make money doing something that you're passionate about. That shouldn't be such a hard thing to ask. I loved cleaning, you guys. I loved it. My body did not. My body was tired. That was before I had my harmonic egg. And I can tell you, I used to get out of bed all creaky and inflamed. I looked like an old lady. And now I take 0 prescription medications. I do lymph drainage daily. I have a vibration plate. I smack my armpits. I do all the routines, the lymph drainage. I do that. I understand that our fascia is really important. So stretching is really important. I understand that we are electric bodies and that we need to ground with the earth's energy to transmute some of the charge that is collecting in our body. We are around Wi-Fi all the time. We're around 5G all the time. We're swimming in a soup of frequency. But the thing is, where's my chart? Okay. When you raise your vibration to here, these lower density frequencies cannot affect you. Another chart, hold on. I didn't even think I was going to talk about this. But this is the binder that I use with my clients. And one of the charts is the emotional spiral chart. So if you are vibrating down here in the fear and the shame and the guilt, this is where a lot of people in the 3D are vibrating in the chaos. And this is kind of neutral territory. And then when you start vibrating up in these higher emotions of abundance and joy and peace and love and harmony, life gets easier. Did I get there overnight? No, I did not. It's taken me about 5 years to pull myself out of that. But that was me being breadcrumbed, me learning as I went, reading books, trial and error, read another book, trial and error. I had mentors along the way. I paid for courses along the way, but nothing in the thousands of dollars. It was always $20 to $30 here and maybe a $50 investment here. And I started to get comfortable with little amounts of money to put myself into rooms where I was growing and expanding my mind and my value. And so as I started investing more in myself, I started to get more comfortable with it. And then I got to that point where I invested in my egg and I signed a 3-year lease, commercial lease. Yeah. And so I decided when I was taking this journey that I wanted to be able to send this all over the world. I wanted to find my people. I am very esoteric, mystic, ancient, Egyptian, cosmic, generational curse breaker. That's my mission. I'm all of that. And I know the souls that find me and that resonate with my frequency are also that. And I know that everybody who finds me on social media, as well as everybody who walks through my doors in my physical space, is there because they are a peer. When I work with people, it is not a this. It is not a me, them. It's more like this. Because sometimes I learn from my clients. Sometimes they're psychic and they see stuff. That's cool. That's really cool. I love that. I love that because I don't see, but I feel, I see it. I see it, but it's with my third eye. And so when I work with people, what I'm doing is I'm saying, let's go at this together. Let's go together. It's a collaboration. It's not a competition. I'm not a gatekeeper. If I know that I just listened to a podcast that can help this person get to their next level, I'm going to share it. And I will share and share until the cows come home. But the minute that someone is like, they don't respond after 1 or 2 or 3 efforts, that touch points that I make, done. I don't need to, I'm not going to cling on to somebody to have them learn. If they want the information, they can ask, but I'm not going to shove it down someone's throat. On the other hand, if I am sending a client podcasts or information and they are saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much, I appreciate it. They're giving me the feedback. They're a diligent student. They're actually wanting to know, hey, can you check my chakras and see if I'm in alignment? Because I just tried to get myself in alignment and I'm not sure if it worked. And then I'll grab my pendulum and I'll go through and I'll say, okay, how's their root, sacral, solar plexus? And, I can give people feedback. The other thing I do when I'm working with someone for my 6-week program is I do go through and I check their chakras occasionally throughout the week and make sure that they're in alignment. And this is, again, people are like, how do you do that? Well, because ether, air is filled with waves all around us that we cannot see, just waiting. Just like this video is right to you for whatever reason, Spirit is sending it to you. Then if you think about a fish who swims in the ocean, they don't know they're in the ocean. They just know they're in their environment. Teal Swan, who is a spiritual teacher who I loved reading her book, Love Yourself, I think it's called. And she has had gifts ever since she was a child of being able to see the waves and all the energetics around us. She sees them, and so she's like, there's no negative space. When you think that there's negative space around you, you just can't see it. The human eye can see very, very little. This is this spectrum that we can see on the grand scheme of things, you guys. And so to think that we have all the answers is us not being open to everything that exists outside of what we can see. Think about the military and their night vision goggles. Okay, well, that's great. But think about an owl who hunts at night and has that built in to their eyes. So humans have had those types of things trained out of us. We don't have to hunt at night. We have grocery stores. But it's not to say that we didn't have that ability at some point. We know cats can see way outside of the spectrum, dogs. Animals are so easy to work on because they're just pure love, pure presence. Animals aren't holding grudges and thinking about what you did yesterday, that thing you said. They're like, no, I love you right now because you're amazing and we are together and I love you right now. That's how animals are. But us in our little human brains, we think, we got to think, and we loop and loop and loop and loop and loop in our little thoughts, in our little pea brains. I do it too. I just try to become aware of when I'm looping in the thought so I can stop, break the loop, do something different, go water a plant, go pull some weeds, go put on a podcast, go for a hike, go put your feet on the ground. So this is fun. I don't know how this is all going to turn out for me. I just know that Spirit said, be yourself. Just do you. You don't have to plan. You don't have to do anything special. I don't want to work on schedules, you guys. I don't want to say, I'm showing up here on Mondays at 2. No. That is not the purpose of becoming a new earth creator. We're trying to get out of the structure system of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No. I'm serious. We are done with that, you guys. Think Renaissance. Think back to the Renaissance era. Go research what the Renaissance era is. It was a time of dancing and artistry and people being sovereign and people being in love with life, creativity. And then it was like we had the Dark Ages, we had this downtime of yuck. And then there was this period of enlightenment that was trying to happen. And then the Industrial Revolution came and factorized everything. And then we lost touch with our creativity. And then everything is provided for us now. So you don't even have to learn how to can your foods or tan a hide like our ancestors did. Knowing how to build a fire and cook your meat and all. I don't want to go back there. Let me just make that clear. I don't want to go back to that. I'm fine. But it's about sustainability in the sense that we don't need to be excessive. But we can still have a rich life. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for being here. And I will catch you in my next inspired moment.